Greetings and salutations. It is I, Professor Macabro, here to regale you with another DVD update, accompanied by my lovely co-host, Zombie Death Cheetos. Oh yes indeed, a brand new year brings with it a brand new additions to the collection, so let's get started. All talking about movies that have been added to the never-ending collection gets me all giddy and excited. I must admit, I got a little wood, a little mahogany there. Now, first off, is a movie that, for a while there, seemed to that it wasn't going to come out. I saw the trailer, and I was like, yeah, it looks interesting. But then it didn't release until eventually it was dropped in the theaters, and I was like, well, it finally came out. Might as well go see it, because I'm curious what it's about. And it's called Seventh Son. Yes, indeed. It's about this old curmudgeon wizard, played by Jeff Bridges, playing the dude, role-playing in some LARP, that is training the seventh son of the seventh sire on the seventh day, something like that, to hunt down witches. It has an appearance, very briefly at the beginning, by Jon Snow. You know nothing, Jon Snow, and neither does your agent for putting you in the first couple of 10 minutes of this before being unceremoniously killed, and then replaced by the other seventh son. But it has Julianne Moore as the bad guy, and if I remember correctly the story of this thing had a lot of production issues. Even the special effects company went bankrupt, and that's why they couldn't release this thing. But this was a more simpler age, before you could make a whole movie and then, delete it for tax purposes. A Batwoman! Yes indeed. So, might as well release your movies, and, if it sucks, it sucked, but at least you put it out there. Next, I have this screener copy of this movie that I've never seen on DVD, or have never seen itself, but it stars Ron Perlman and Erica Eleniak, who had a very memorable scene in Under Siege, let me tell you. That best cake scene of all time! Indeed, and she was also on Baywatch, but her time in Baywatch, she was not as fully grown as she was in Under Siege, and as she is apparently here. But it's called Shakedown. Indeed, for screening purposes only. This is a curiosity to collect for. When you get a screener or these promotional DVDs, you get the movie, but you always have, most of the time, this message that keeps popping up. This is a screener for screening purposes only, not for resale or something like that. It kind of takes you out of the movie. But it's a very interesting little thing to collect, and I have a few of these in the collection. But it sounds like an interesting movie. Ron Perlman is a bank robber that's trying to rob a bank. But then earthquakes happen, and now the robbers and the people that he's robbing have to survive this madness. So, sounds very interesting. Of course, I will have to watch it, and I'll probably end up liking it. So then I'll have to track down a non-screener DVD release of this. But, yes, that's the way Professor Macabre goes. He likes adding these really weird, obscure movies to the collection. Or just curiosities, if you will. Such as this one, Monster Island, with Carmen Electra, another screener. Not final packaging, screener only, available on VHS and DVD. Rental stores, we used to have a lot of these. We used to get, from the studios, these VHS tapes where they would promote movies. So the video store rental places would order VHS copies of it. Very prevalent in the VHS collecting scene, but you do get your DVDs. And since I'm mostly a DVD collector, I couldn't pass up getting this one. This was released by MTV, so the quality of it might be questionable, but again, a nice little oddity to collect and to add to the collection. Next up, The Lighthouse. Indeed, the story of these two people that take and look over a lighthouse, but then weird shit starts to happen. Now, the notable thing is that this lighthouse came out before the William Dafoe and Robert Pattinson, the new Batman. Well, I can't call him Twilight Sparkle guy anymore. He's earned his chops. The new Batman. This one came out before that one. So this is not a ripoff of that version of the lighthouse. That version of the lighthouse is a ripoff of this, but it's a story that actually happened, supposedly. But while that one is more artsy-fartsy, this one looks to be more of a proper film. But I've seen The Lighthouse with William Dafoe, and it's a very good movie, very artsy, very trippy. I suppose some people might say it's one of those elevated horrors. Horror is horror. Don't try to make yourself look like a snob just because you like elevated horror. Horror is horror. Give me a nice artsy-fartsy movie, and I will enjoy it just as much as a B-movie piece of shit. Give it all to me, and I will eat it all up. Yum, 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 yum. So yes, before the William Dafoe movie, there was already a Lighthouse movie, so open your horizons. Next up, In Sanitarium. Bought this one for $1, but it has Peter Stormare, who is one of the best interpretations of the devil in Constantine. I freaking love Peter Stormare as Lucifer. Him and Tim Curry as the Prince of Darkness in Legend are my two favorite interpretations of the devil. I suppose I will also have to add Elizabeth Hurley in Bedazzled. But only her because, oh my god, that's the sexiest she's ever looked. But yes, saw this one just because of Peter Stormare, and I had to pick it up. I have never seen that movie. Picked up Addiction. Another blind buy. Never seen it. Don't know the first thing about it. But I enjoy picking up these random, weird DVDs of horror movies that many people might not know about. I certainly don't know about this one. And I like to come across these really weird movies. Such as this one. Ghost Son. What's more terrifying than having a kid? Well, a ghost kid, I guess. Maybe it's a demon kid. I don't know. Could be a number of things. But you would be surprised how frequently used the trope of a kid growing inside the belly of a woman is used for horror. One of the more unique ones I have is a lady that thought she was haunted, but she was just going through that depression that some women get after, I don't know the scientific term, even though I'm a professor, I don't know, mortem is dead, post-part depression, something like that, Google it. So that one was very unique. So this one I'm guessing is just this lady that maybe has a ghost or a demon growing inside her. I don't know, but I'm looking forward to finding out. Next up, this is a bit of a shame for me. I picked up The Scientist because I thought I didn't own it. Imagine my surprise when I look at the collection and I already have a copy of this. So now I have an extra copy of Scientist, so don't dwell on that. Picked up The Wave in a very nice and nifty lenticular cover. I'm a sucker for things that move or are shiny. I have bought a number of movies based solely on that, but I like how this looks. Whee! So I'm guessing it's about a tsunami or something of the like. Next up, Varsity Blood. I'm assuming this is a slasher for a varsity thing. School's out forever, says the tagline. Will it be good? I won't know until I see it. And the last one is a sequel to a movie that I don't own. But I'm going to have to look for it now. And this is 1031 Part 2. I know there exists a 1031, which is the first one, but I didn't know there was a second one. And now I have the second one, so now I'm going to have to track down the first one. Goody, goody, goody. Lots of really cool stuff. admittedly a lot of blind buys, and much like in the other video, if I haven't seen a movie, I really can't recommend it. So the only one I can go out on a final thought on is The Seventh Son. I thought it was what it was. Actually, in the other video, I could have recommended The Patriot just because of how low that movie is. So for the previous video, I will recommend The Patriot, and in this one, I will recommend The Seventh Son. At least until I watch this pile of movies, and let you know which one was actually pretty good. Well then, I still have a couple of more movies to share, so I hope you tune in for that. But until I see you all again, this has been Professor Macabro, and my lovely co-host Zombie Decitos, wishing you, like always, a good evening.